Why I broke my villa lease after 12 days. My nightmare story. This is what this video is about. I think it's preposterous. I think it's crazy. I don't even know the words to describe it right now. But
hey
anyways,
guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Francine, aka Miss Fancy. And on this channel, I talk about travel, life abroad. Sometimes I do share a little bit of motivation, self-development, some inspirational content as well too. So if this is your jam, please hit the subscribe button, turn your post notification on so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Give me a thumbs up. Let the algorithm know that you love content like this. I'm just gonna get right into the video. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what I'm talking about. I'm here to share my villa nightmare story. But I want to give you guys something to think about before you decide where it is you actually want to live. There's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration. They say that we're all brilliant looking back, right? And as for me, unfortunately, I had to be the test dummy or the lab rat, or so to speak. I had to go through it so now that I can actually impart wisdom, because there's a lot of information that I wish was available at my disposal online, and this is why I find it necessary to create content, because I get people messaging me all the time saying, thank you so much for creating the video, thank you so much for the information, it's very informative. So I don't think that this is any less important. I think this is probably one of the most important things to share about. But I'm going to get really deep and detailed about what you need to think about before you commit to where you want to live in the Dominican Republic. This is something that you need to think about, because where you lay your head, where you call home, is very important, if not the most important thing next to your finances. But accommodations for me is a big deal. People have said, maybe you are the problem. I am not the problem. I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. That's just what it is. And there's just certain standards and certain things that I expect when I'm paying a certain amount of money, because I'm not paying $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 for rent now. I'm talking $1,000 and up. So I have expectations, and I feel that I'm in my right to expect things to be a certain way. I recently made a huge mistake that cost me hundreds, upwards thousands of dollars. I moved into a beautiful villa only to break the lease after 12 days. 12 days. So real quick backstory. My friend was helping me look for a property because I'm ready to just be settled and find a place. So I was looking for a 6-month lease. So we were just searching, and she lives in this area. It's a lovely area. It's a lovely neighborhood. So she was just searching online, searched on Facebook Markets. We collectively were searching, and she found this property on Airbnb, and she was like, oh, I see this one. I'm going to reach out to the owner. And I almost wish that we just rented it through Airbnb initially, as they thought that's what we wanted to do. But we were saying, can we negotiate a lower price for a 6-month lease? On Airbnb, you can see that it's not booked. You can see the calendar and see the availability. So it's been booked before by individuals that have stayed there for a short period of time, not as lengthy as what I wanted. So we reached out, and at first they said, we can do it for the price that you want, but then there's Airbnb fees that's going to bring it up. So when we did the math, it just was more than the budget I wanted to spend. So then I thought about it again, and then we talked about it, and then we reached out to them and said, well, no, this is not what we meant. This is what we meant. And they're like, okay, very open to doing it. So we went to go and look at the property. This villa, again, my friend lives in the neighborhood. It was really nicely decorated. It felt very homey. It felt very warm. This is their home, so they put a lot of thought into the decor. Unlike a lot of places I've been to just look very Airbnb-ish, this looked like homey. It didn't look like an Airbnb. It looked like a home. It felt warm. It felt cozy, and I like that it was decorated very nicely. Don't be swayed by decor, and this is what I'm learning, guys. This is a lesson to me
I'm learning as I go, and I thank God for wisdom. It's one thing that I've been praying for. I'm learning through this whole process, and I'm gonna drop some gems for you guys, so stick around, stick with me. So fast forward now, so we got all of this stuff done. So we looked at the property, and let's fast forward to after signing the paperwork, everything, conversation, communication between the landlord and the landlord's partner was pretty solid, because he was making me speak directly to his partner about everything, and he even said, this is our first time doing this, we've never done this before. And they just seemed like they were also learning, and they were learning in this process too, right? Yeah. So the communication was solid. A girl like me love a person who likes to communicate, because I'm very good with communication. I think communication is important. So anyways, after I saw the property, I had reached out to the landlord, his partner that was communicating with me. I said 2 things that I'm asking you. First is that you get a door sweep to keep out any bugs. Secondly, I would like for you to take care of any pests that's in the home. Please ensure that the home is free of all and any pests. He's gonna reassure me that the home's gonna be fumigated, it's gonna be taken care of, I don't need to worry, they'll have the door sweep. This is the reassurance that I had, that this is gonna be done. I'm telling you, the communication was solid, okay? I was like, oh my God, you're making this so easy for me. Wow, this is so easy. I'm not getting any resistance, no pushback, Lord. Like, you're working in my favor here. So, moved into the property. The first night I slept there, I heard lizards croaking. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's the most annoying sound ever. One of the most annoying sounds I've heard. I hate it. So I couldn't sleep now, because I'm like, there's a lizard in here, and it doesn't sound like a small lizard. It sounds like it's a pretty big one. But I'm not gonna move the curtain to look to see, but I can hear it behind the curtain, behind the bed. So I'm up at 3 a.m. and I'm not going back to sleep, because I'm petrified. And I made this known that I'm petrified. I have a phobia of these things. And when I talk to other people about lizards and such, like people who are from North America, they're like, absolutely not. Whether you want to call it a lizard, whether you want to call it a salamander, a gecko, they all look the same. I don't care. They're disgusting. But in the Caribbean, like the DR, that's normal. That you see them in your apartment. You see them in your house, because they eat the bugs inside the house. I get it. But I don't want to live with lizards. I don't want to live with bugs. I don't do that back home. So I'm not coming here to, I get it. You acclimate to where you are, but it's my home. I want my home to be free of that. I know they're going to be outside. I know they're going to be on the walls when you walk up to your front door, but I don't want them inside with me. Outside is their habitat. I don't want them inside with me. So when people are like, oh, it's normal, it's not for me. Please, let's just understand that. It's not normal for lizards and cockroaches and all those things to be welcomed in a home with someone from North America. It's just not. I'm sorry. And I'm never going to feel happy and comfortable with that. So when I told him about this, he's like, oh, I heard that sound, and I couldn't find it. I'm not sure where it's coming from. He was trying to say, oh, I think it's outside. And I'm like, nah, it's not outside. It's inside. So this is Saturday night, Sunday morning. I woke up and I'm explaining this to the landlord and telling him what happened. I so happened in the afternoon to see one of the lizards crawling on the floor. That was my first red flag. I was like, Jesus, what is this? So I killed it. Sprayed it, it kind of slowed down, and then when it was slow enough, I just slapped it with my slipper and killed it. I had to clean it up. Okay. But that wasn't the only issue. I kept on hearing it every night. I kept on hearing it in the daytime. I kept on hearing the lizard sounds. I kept on seeing droppings. I saw droppings, like black droppings. So I'm thinking, I'm like, even my friend would be on the phone with me while I'm sleeping, because I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep by myself. I'm in this place by myself. I don't have anyone to look. I even had my friends come by to look in the property. Can you search and see if you see anything in here? Oh, he's like, no, 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 there's nothing there. And I'm like, bro, there's something here. I hear it. I know it. There's something in here with me. I see the droppings, so I will sweep the droppings, because I'm like, okay, if there's new droppings, then I know there's something in here. So whether it's a mice, whether it's a lizard droppings, I don't know. It was black. It looked like mice droppings, but it could be lizard droppings as well too. So as the days are going forward, I would see the droppings and I would sweep it. I'm like, oh my God, there's more. I woke up, I saw droppings in the living room and the kitchen area. I'm like, oh my God, there's more. Because I'm seeing droppings every day. There's droppings on the window. I'm like, they are living in here. They're living in here. How could the landlord not see this? And when I would take the pictures, I snap the pictures and I would send them to the landlord. And he's saying, I don't know what that is. Just acting very like ignorant to the fact. I'm like, how did you not see this? How do you not know it? Oh, I don't know what that is. What could that be? Even one day I saw like a big black dropping by the bed, and I took a picture and I sent it, and he's like, where is that? Where's that located? Where did you see that? That is so huge. I'm like, it's right beside the bed. It wasn't there this morning, but it's here now this afternoon. So clearly there's something in here with me. So anyways, this was getting kind of old. So I think it was like maybe day 7. I'm not quite sure. He decided to send this company to fumigate the property. Mind you, the fumigation was supposed to be done prior to me moving in, right? So they came and I had to come out of the property. I had to be displaced for 3.5 hours sitting outside because the doors were all open. So I was just sitting outside. I couldn't even leave. I had to stay there, because I can't leave the house open. My stuff is in there, right? Now the fumigation, as I said to him, I had mentioned to him, like, I still hear the lizards and all that stuff. So he's like, but before that, he had said, don't worry, when I sent him the picture of the dropping stuff, don't worry, tomorrow they'll all be dead. So then when the next day came now, and I was like, they're here still. I still hear them. I still see the droppings. He's like, oh, the fumigation does not get rid of lizards. So what are we gonna do about the problem? You know, the bugs, okay, that's fine, they're gone. Like, what are we gonna do about the problem? This is a problem. Like, I signed a 6-month lease with you, and I'm supposed to live in here with these things for 6 months and nothing be done about it? That cannot be the outcome here. Something has to be done about it. So anyways, I don't remember what day it was. I was seeing these droppings and everything, and I was hearing them in the walls and all of that, and I was just like, this is just too much. I just was petrified. I was on the phone with my friend every night, and I fell asleep on the phone with my friend, not because I knew that he couldn't do anything about it. It's just that I was like, I just was so afraid. I was scared. And maybe if I'm on the phone with him while I'm laying down, he can see something and be like, hey, wake up. I don't know. I was scared to sleep in the room at one point. I was like, I'm gonna sleep in the living room. That wouldn't have made sense. But you, my friend, you are a real... Okay, so my battery died and the sun came out, and I gotta switch positions because it's just a lot. I'm sitting right in front of the window. So I just want to finish this video. So I don't even remember where I left off in the story. So, okay, I'm going to try and recollect where I left off. The night before I decided to pack my stuff up and leave was a conversation I had with the landlord's partner, because whenever there needs to be a discussion about something, when there's an issue, he makes me talk to his partner, which I found kind of weird, but whatever. So I spoke to him. I mentioned the concern. I sent pictures of like the droppings. He was acting as if he's like, oh my God, what is that? That's huge. I don't know where that's coming from. Where is that even located in the house? I'm like, it's in the house. That's all you need to know. It's in the house. So Basically, he has said to me, I can get a professional to come out to the property to look at it and to get it all cleaned out and stuff. However, I can't guarantee if I get someone out there that they won't come back. So you might want to consider moving. That's what he said to me. I was like, okay. He's like, I hate to know that you're uncomfortable. I hate to know that you want to sleep on the couch because you're scared to sleep in the room. So they knew exactly what was happening, how I was feeling. They knew what was going on, but just playing me for a fool this whole time. I established that now. Just pretending to care, pretending that you're concerned, but you knew the whole time that this was an ongoing issue. They said they're going to send a professional out. So the next day, I got a message from the landlord saying, oh, my mom's gonna come to have a look at the property. So the mom was the professional here.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So instead of you spending money to get a professional to come to the property to look at it, you sent your mom because you want to save money. Mind you, there were other issues. Even the tap in the primary bathroom, it was leaking water underneath, so I had to remove all my stuff from underneath it. I told them the first day that I moved in that it was leaking. They said that they were gonna get someone out there. 12 days later, it still wasn't fixed. So these are people that I'm dealing with. So the mother came out, the mother is looking, the mother doesn't speak any English, so we're translating back and forth. And she moved the furniture, she swept up all the droppings, moved the back of the fridge because I said there's something back there. She saw the droppings, she swept it up. She basically just swept up the place. Checked behind the curtains, checked behind the bed. These things, they move fast. Whatever they are, they're going to hide. So anyway, she left. That same day, shortly after she left, I walked into the bathroom and I saw a lizard on the wall over the shower. And it was trying to hide into the tile. It was trying to hide down in the tile, and it actually made its way in there. So I'm like, oh my God. So I just walked out of the bathroom just very calm, and I was like, oh my God. I started feeling sick to my stomach because I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is this? So anyways, I try to just remain calm. Mind you, when I went outside in the back, I saw that there was a hole in the back where the cord for the air conditioner goes in. It's open. If there's an opening of any sort, that is a way of them coming into the house. Because if they get through from outside, they're making their way inside. And that's why I heard them in the wall, in the living room, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the room. They're inside the house at this point. A few hours went by and I decided I was going to take a shower. And then I went into the shower, turned on the light, and I saw a lizard in the shower on the floor, and I lost it. It was staring at me. You know, lizards are supposed to run when you're coming towards them. It stayed there and looked at me like, Trick, what are you going to do about it? You want to kill my peoples? I'm coming back for revenge. And I was like, yeah, no. I took a video, I took a photo, I sent it to the landlord's partner. I was like, I cannot do this. They're gonna come from everywhere. I cannot do this. Clearly there's an infestation. Even someone came to do measurement for the windows to put up these screens on the windows. And he said to me, could you ask the person that's coming to take the measurements if they can have a look at the property? How are you gonna ask me to ask a stranger to look at an issue inside your home? They're not here for that. He's not pest control. He's here to do measurements for the screens that you're supposed to put on your windows to avoid these pests from coming inside. I called my friend. My friend doesn't drive. So I was like, can you come and get me, please? She took an Uber and she came and got me. I was freaking out. I was like, I can't do this. I packed up most of my stuff and we left. When I messaged the landlord and said that I can't stay here anymore, all he said to me was, and I will show you the screenshot, was, sorry, it didn't work out. Sorry, it didn't work out. Fine. So anyways, the next day I went back and I picked up my stuff. I made sure everything was clean. I always leave a place clean, and left it. And no words, no remorse, nothing.
So I made a few days pass by. So I didn't hear anything about the deposit, anything like that. So I reached out to them. I think I sent an email regarding my deposit, and they're basically saying that I forfeited my deposit based on the fact that I signed a contract for 6 months. Cool. Let's talk about this financial fiasco and me fighting for my deposit. Mind you, I'm very well aware of leases and how leases work. However, you need to ensure that your property is habitable and you hold up your end of the contract based on what we discussed. I specifically asked you to ensure that the property was in a particular state and you knew that there were issues. So you did not go into this contract with any sort of good faith. There was no good faith, because when I asked back for my deposit, they just wanted to hold on to my money. If it was done in good faith, you would have given me back something. I occupied your property for 12 days. 12 days. So based on that, you could have just done the math and take back whatever amounts you felt you were owed, and that's fine, and we could move on. But now I'm literally at the point where I'm like, no, you don't deserve any of that money. You can keep a portion of it, but the majority of it I should get back. And I even said to them, I'm like, you clearly was just in a desperate state to have this money. You were desperate. And mind you remember that communication and how they were being all friendly and nice in the beginning? Oh, they were totally different people. I met a totally different person from who I was dealing with after I left the property. They even told me to refrain from emailing them any further. They were definitely desperate. You know, now that I think about it, I look on their Airbnb and I looked on the calendar. Their property was listed with no bookings for months, even well into a year. Their property was not booked at all. So clearly there was a desperation there. Even though maybe 2 persons may have stayed there before, based on the 2 reviews, they've mentioned that people have stayed there before, but they were clearly desperate and not acting in good faith, because you would have given back my money. So now I have to file a dispute, get a lawyer to get me this money back. So this is active. This is me actively, as I'm recording this video, and once it's posted, I'm actively trying to recoup that money back. Honestly, at this point, I'm just really annoyed that I have to go through this, getting a lawyer, having to spend money unnecessary, because I feel like these last few months I've just lost money and it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, but I've learned so much from this experience, and I'm not saying I'm happy I've gone through this, but I'm happy that I'm going through it now, because this is probably good that I'm going through it now, so in the future I don't lose more money and I can help others. I hate dealing with this stuff. I hate dealing with conflict. I hate dealing with this and having to go through this. It's really just a lot of energy that I don't want to give and exert. I don't want to exert this kind of energy, but it is what it is. So how to avoid the mistakes that I made. This is the important piece. The Airbnb test, I call it. This is a genius idea. If it is possible, before you sign a lease, you search for the property on Airbnb first and see if it's available for the time that you like to stay there, and book the property on Airbnb. The pro to booking through Airbnb, if there are any issues, you can report it through Airbnb. And mind you, if there are any issues with the property, sometimes the Airbnb host will give you their WhatsApp number to communicate. Don't do that. If there's a problem with the property, always communicate through Airbnb. Always, because there's paper trail. And if you need to file a dispute with Airbnb, they can see a paper trail. Always communicate with the host through Airbnb. Never outside of that. Also, if the host says to you, you need to pay me a deposit for electricity before you can occupy the property,
Mind you, before booking the property, ask the host, do I have to pay a deposit for electricity? And if so, how do you take the deposit? If they say cash, do not book with them. Do not book with them, because I had this issue where I had to go through hoops to get my deposit back from an Airbnb, where I had to actually leave the property earlier than I wanted. After I spoke with Airbnb about this, they said that because they cannot get involved otherwise. If you pay through PayPal, then you pay it as a payment, not as a friends and family. You have to pay the extra in the event that you have to file a dispute. I would say don't necessarily trust the decor and think that, oh, because it's aesthetically pleasing and it's decorated so nicely, that this is a nice Airbnb. There might be issues that the decor is trying to conceal. I've seen this. When you book the Airbnb, to just check for anything, check under the sink, check behind furniture, check the taps, make sure that the water is draining, just to make sure that there are no issues, so that you can kind of deal with it before you get comfortable, and then let Airbnb know what's going on. This is also something that I learned too. Ask the right questions to your landlord. What is their history with pest control? Ask that. You gotta ask the tough question. When was the last time the property was fumigated? Some places they're supposed to do it every few months, maybe every 3 months. I'm not really quite sure of the time frame, but ask those questions. Ask them, what company do you use? Can you look this company up? Are they reputable? What are the reviews for this company? Ask those questions. Those questions are important. Vet the landlords and the property management company. Once you have information about that, again, look them up online. Can you find them online? Are there any reviews? Are there reports? Are there any disputes? Anything like that. So you got to do your due diligence. It may take a little bit extra time for you to do this, but it will be worth it in the long run for you to avoid any issues that you may have to deal with in the future. These are the takeaways that I want you to think about. The most important advice that I want to convey to you, for you to save thousands of dollars, which could have saved me thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and weeks of sleepless nights, because I was actually really just in a bad space after that happened. I had a whole interest of making this country my home, and I feel as though the encounters that I've had with people, landlords to be specific, it just left a sour taste in my mouth. I was just like, these people are just so nefarious and just deceptive. I don't want to have to deal with these people. But it's not everyone that's like that, because there are people that I know, that I have friends that actually rent and they're happy with their place. It's just dealing with the right person. So it left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just was ready to pack up and dip out, because I was like, I don't like this. I don't like how I'm feeling. I just felt really cheated. I felt really deceived. I felt broken. I felt disappointed, despondent, and my friends were trying to get me to go out, and I was like, I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like doing nothing. That's a lot of money that's gone down the drain, and now I have to fight to get the money back. I don't want to deal with that. Let's just talk about legal power here. And again, I want to preface this by saying that sometimes prevention is better than cure. And sometimes spending extra money to protect yourself in the long run is worth it. Now, the legal shield. So before you sign any document, and when you sign a lease in the Dominican Republic, it has to be signed, it has to be in Spanish, but you can also get an English version. If it's sent to you digitally, you can translate it so you can know exactly what it says if you don't speak Spanish. But I would recommend, highly recommend, to hire a lawyer, a real estate lawyer, to review your contract. Not just review your contract, but there is a golden ticket clause that I personally feel the next time that I'm going to rent a property that I need to be put into my lease. I never thought about this before. I thought about this after the situation happened. I'll tell you exactly what this clause is. I feel the need to stress on a strong habitability and pest control clause. I'll tell you what it means. I'm gonna put it on here because I actually did all this thing up and I was like, okay, this makes sense to me with hopes that a lawyer would be able to do this. A landlord who's confident in his property has no reason to fear this protection for you. So, I've never seen this clause, I've never used it, but I'm gonna try it next time. That's pretty much my story about why I broke my lease in 12 days and what I've learned from the experience and takeaways and information that I feel that could be helpful to you, the viewer, or someone who may be interested in moving to the Dominican Republic or moving abroad somewhere, regardless of where it is. I know that when you move to different places in the world, like jurisdiction, all these things are different. Mind you, the Dominican law does support you as a tenant. A lot of people are not privy to or aware of what their rights are. So know your rights before you rent. Get a lawyer to review your lease and pay the extra money if you need to. It may save you down the road. It may save you down the road. I personally have discovered after this whole fiasco and this whole ordeal that I'm an apartment condo type of girl. I'm not into the villa. Maybe if I get married one day, maybe if I have some more kids, I don't know, maybe having more space. But for me, myself, solo, moi, I just need an apartment for myself. I don't need a villa. I don't need all that space. I really don't. And I've learned this from experience. So maybe you want to try one or the other, and you may realize that, you know, I don't really like the apartment life. I don't want to hear my neighbors. I don't want to hear my neighbors up top or beside me. You know, sometimes you hear things you don't want to hear. You just have to figure out what is best for you, and the only way to find out is to try. So that's all that I have for you guys. I hope that this was informative. I hope that this helps somebody, even if it's one person. Learn from my mistake. Do your due diligence, do your research, and protect yourself. Protect yourself in all that you do. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button. Please give me a thumbs up. Let the algorithm know that you like content like this. And please leave me a comment. Let me know, have you ever been in a situation similar to mine? If so, how did you handle that? And are you thinking about moving abroad, maybe to the Dominican Republic? Did this information help you? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Until next time, please take care, stay safe, and God bless. Bye.